If you're a long-term listener of the podcast, I'm sure you remember a time, I think maybe last year, when I told you guys that some wedding planner that I hang out with was trying to get me up on the MLM game, some multi-level marketing. I can't remember which platform it was at the time, because over here in Abuja, and I'm sure maybe in Lagos, these things come around I don't know, every year or every other year. And then after the MLM thing, talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin was big, and of course, people thinking that it's a good, it's an alternative source of income, the viable hustle that folks should get involved in. And so that wave, the cryptocurrency wave, is still uh, going on strong now. But you could say the recent flavor that has hit the market, at least in the Niger sense, is the NFT craze. And of course, I'm a little familiar with it. I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff from the technical aspect that I don't understand. But since digital assets seem to be behind NFTs, JPEGs mostly, then as a wedding photographer, let's just say I'm in that space where I get to hear about it a lot. In fact, I had a meeting at Tech Hub recently. It was supposed to discuss sales training, but of course, in the chat that followed, I mentioned that I used to be a wedding photographer. Well, I still am, anyway. But and so the conversation just flowed naturally into how I should try and take advantage of the NFT craze going on, and create NFTs of my own and then sell and make some money. So like I mentioned in the previous episodes, these things come around in waves, and so it looks like this is the next wave of things that people are going to try to see how they can make some money off on the side, especially for those of us in the event space who are photographers or graphic artists, those sorts of things. So I guess you might be considering it, or folks are going to be talking to you a lot saying, oh, this photographer in Lagos, or this photographer in Ghana, or this photographer here or there made some money by selling a bunch of NFTs. Why don't you get into the game? Now, my opinion still remains the same, that we're better off paying attention to the fundamentals of our business and seeing how we can grow that. So if you're a wedding planner, my opinion is still double down on the wedding planning, or double down on the photography or the videography or whatever it is that you do. Get the fundamentals of your business locked down pat, and then you'll be better off in the long term. Then you can study these things on the side, because I think the real profits, the real long-term profits, will go to those who understand it properly from a technical perspective and are making an educated choice, rather than just getting in because they think we can get in on the cheap and then make some money on the back end. If you do that, I really think it's akin to gambling, and so I would prefer that, instead of us getting swept around, by every new craze every now and then, let's just pay attention to the fundamentals of our businesses, and then get educated on these things, and then we can make what will I say, much more informed bets on them in the future. But anyway, since all this NFT talk, there's lots of NFT talk amongst photographers. My assumption is that you, wedding planners, cake people, who else, pyro people, MCs, decor, maybe you guys haven't been caught along. How will I put it? Maybe you guys haven't been brought up to speed about what's going on in the rest of the world concerning things in the digital asset space, and in the crypto space. So the reason why I'm making this episode basically is just to let you guys know this is what NFTs are, at least as far as I understand, because like I said, there are technical aspects that I do not understand yet, and just so that you guys know what is going on the horizon with your other colleagues in the wedding and the event space. So, you're a wedding planner. It's nice to know what crazy stuff wedding photographers are getting up to, creating NFTs and making money and all of that. So just to know what's going out there, what's there in that space, because like I said, it's better to get educated so that you can make informed decisions about it in the future. So what's an NFT? Well, it's short for non-fungible token. It's really hard for lay folks like me to define, especially since I like going with working definitions. So I'm not going to bother to define what it is, either in a technical sense or to give you a working definition. The only thing that I'll say so far is that with the evolution of the NFT game, it seems to be mostly concerned with digital assets. So you have a lot of people who are creating photographs as NFTs. I saw this Ghanaian dude on Twitter, I think, some cool Afro-futuristic art and stuff like that. So they're creating these things and then selling them. So now, I'm sure you're going to ask the question that, okay, digital assets, I get it, but you're creating work of art that are essentially JPEGs. And of course, you're going to ask the question that can't JPEGs be copied? JPEG is a file format for storing photographs. So if you're a wedding planner, most of the photographers you work with will probably shoot in RAW, but after they edit the photo, they're going to deliver it to you in JPEG. So JPEG is that easy format that lets it show up on your phone or on your computer or your client's computer or on social media, on Instagram. So well, you're going to ask that, can JPEGs be copied? And ordinarily, yes. But the thing is, when you're dealing with NFTs, when you create these digital assets, there's a lot of computer wizardry that goes on in the background, so that in the code, you can sort of like embed a certificate of authenticity. Not like you create an actual certificate of authenticity, but I'm just saying that there's code there that shows that this is the authentic image. Let's say it was me, for instance, and I create an NFT because I take pictures of, let's say I take pictures of my toenails, and I'm able to make wonderful art out of that, pictures of my toenails. So it's going to be there in the code, certificate of authenticity, that the picture is actually something that was created by me, limited edition, 10 copies, and that establishes the provenance of the work. Provenance is, how will I define provenance? Okay, let's say you're into art and you collect stuff. Provenance is part of trying to establish the authenticity of something and the history of something. For instance, I tried selling my guitar recently. If you're a long-term listener, you remember that that podcast episode. I have a Epiphone. It's a Studio Dot. It's modeled after a Gibson ES 335, if I remember correctly. So I tried selling it. There's this guitarist who does lots of touring. He's a Nigerian dude, but he does lots of touring. And so we got talking about his guitar collection, and he has a Fender Stratocaster that was owned by Sonny Ade, and he was able to take the guitar and he cleaned it up, did some work, and he was able to sell it to a museum not a museum, was that a museum? Or an art gallery in South Africa. And so he made some money that way by taking Sonny Ade's guitar and then by selling it. So now, the idea of provenance, the idea behind provenance is being able to establish that history, that is this guitar indeed Sonny Ade's own? Was it owned by Sonny Ade? Yeah. So being able to establish the authenticity and the history of the item, you could say that that's like the idea behind provenance. And so that's part of the beauty of what the technology behind NFTs allows you to do. So the technology behind it is called blockchain. I'm not going to bother defining blockchain because I'm a layman and I haven't got my education down pat. But when I do, I'll try and clarify in future episodes. So blockchain allows you to establish provenance, that this is an authentic picture taken by Tabishima of his toenails, and it's a limited edition, only 10 copies. So if people now buy this, the hope is that they're going to be able to speculate on it, like, okay, Tabishima is a correct guy, he's a good artist, anything Tabishima touches turns to gold. So I'm going to buy 5 of these early copies of his toenail art, so that if I'm able to buy that this amount, in 5 years' time, the value will rise and I'll be able to sell it for something else. So that's the play, pretty much. And that is the kind of thing that is done in the art world. So assuming this my guitarist friend with Sonny Ade's guitar didn't sell to the museum, you could have kept it for a couple of years, and somebody else who is also a music enthusiast would have been like, correct, you have Sonny Ade's guitar. How much do you want for it? And they'll go back and forth, and eventually he'll be able to sell it for a profit, and then on and on and on. So that's essentially the name of the game, and that's what happens whether you're talking about a painting of the Mona Lisa. Okay, no, the Mona Lisa is already locked up in a gallery. So let me see what else. So it'd be the same whether you're talking about a Picasso or maybe some hotshot Nigerian artist. So that's the same. So that's how people who speculate on art, that's how they make money. Although some people are collectors, they buy to keep. So that's pretty much what is happening in the NFT space. So yes, JPEGs can be copied, but with the blockchain technology, you're going to be able to establish its authenticity and its provenance. And then apart from that, blockchains allow you to do this thing called smart contracts. So you can build it into, it reflects the terms of the sale. And for somebody who had a background in law, for me, I think this is the most interesting part of smart contracts. The smart contracts and blockchain technology. Those are the things that I'm actually looking towards, actually. How these technologies can be used to form the basis of contracts and to show evidence that people did in fact enter into a contract. So people have been creating NFTs with smart contracts built into it, so that you're not just buying the digital art. Like for Gary Vaynerchuk, you're buying, for people who bought his own NFTs, he created some artwork of cartoon animals that cartoon animals are supposed to be symbols of values that Gary Vaynerchuk thinks are essential to blowing up in business. For him, he says empathy is a big deal. You need to have a listening ear for your customers. You need to have empathy. What else? Integrity, kindness, stuff like that. And so he issued these NFTs because I think he has currently written a book. I think it's 12 and a half or maybe 13 or something. And it's about these virtues that he thinks are essential for success in business. So, the NFTs, the photos of the cartoon photos of the animals are supposed to promote that. But then when you buy any of those NFTs, you don't just get the photos. It also now serves as a ticket to conferences, future shows, one-on-one access with him in the future, and then another fellow, Tom Bilyeu of Impact Theory, pretty much the same thing. So these are the different ideas and use cases that people have used around this interesting world of NFTs and blockchain. So if it sounds confusing, don't worry, you're in good company. For those of us who are lay people, yes, it's very confusing. So if it's this confusing, then why bother with all this? Now, the reason why I think wedding professionals ought to bother about it is not just because it could be a source of viable income in the future if you become educated about it, but I suspect that this is the infrastructure for how business is going to run in the future, and we ought to get educated. So remember, blockchain technologies allows you to build smart contracts, and we can see that people in America, like Gary Vaynerchuk and some conference organizers, are using it to replace ticketing and other forms of interaction. So who knows how long it will take for these things to trickle down to Nigeria. We've already seen photographers creating NFTs in Nigeria and I think in Ghana. But the other use cases, smart contracts, how long, who knows how long it's going to take to get here. So whether it's 5 years or 10 years, it's possibly going to be part of the new infrastructure for how business is going to be conducted. And so let's get educated and let's learn, so that if that happens to be the case, that these things actually do become the new infrastructure for how we conduct business in Nigeria, we're not going to be caught unawares. And apart from that, it also would be a good idea. I mean, for those of us who have kids anyway, so that when the children come and say, "Hey, Dad, hey, Mom, what's up with all this NFT? What's up with blockchain? What's up with this? What's up with that?" We're going to be able to give them a sound, okay, maybe not sound, some objective information that they can start running off on before they make their own opinions. Because, in this Google age, it's easy for people to just go and Google and find the wrong stuff and then get down the wrong rabbit hole and then make mistakes. So yeah, these are the reasons why I think, even though we're event and wedding professionals and we're concerned about boosting our sales, we ought to still pay attention to all these things that keep coming up every now and then on the side. But my advice still remains the same, and my personal opinion, the next time somebody says, this multi-level thing is happening, this Wonder Bank is doing this, let's do blockchain, let's do crypto, let's do NFT, let's do this, let's do this, let's do that. My own opinion is, don't get confused. Solidify, consolidate on your businesses, consolidate on the fundamentals. Make sure your business is rock solid, and then start, keep learning about whatever it is, whether it's Bitcoin or Wonder Banks or whatever. Learn and make sure that when you do dip your toe into this thing, you're making a firm and educated bid. Because when people try to speculate in all these things, they lose a lot of money. There are people that have bought NFTs that have turned out to be worthless. There are people that have said, I have this loose 100K or this loose 500K. Let me see what I can, if I put it into Bitcoin, let me see what can happen. And then they end up with zero. And then there's some people who are like, oh no, this MLM thing is genuine, or this Wonderback is genuine, it's not a scam. I know somebody who put in 500 and he removed 1.5. So I have my children's school fees, 2M. Let me drop this 2, and then let's see if you can write the 8. People try to do stuff and they lose money. So concentrate on fundamentals of your business. Make sure you get educated, so that when you do try to do anything on the side, you make a really firm and educated bid. Because things are only risky to the extent that we either have knowledge about it or we don't have knowledge. So if you don't have enough knowledge about the thing, then believe me, it's going to be a very risky enterprise. But if you're well educated, then the level of risk goes down. I know that some of you probably are not going to agree with me, but that's my own 2 cents anyway. So thank you very much for listening to the Sales for the Nigerian Wedding Industry podcast. I'm your host, Abuja-based sales consultant and media event professional, Tabishima Ayede. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next recording, and expect some follow-up episodes on this whole NFT blockchain thing, especially the smart contract angle, when I get more educated from all these IT guys and girls that I've been hanging around with recently. So you all have a wonderful day, and still early in the year, so of course I can still wish you guys that this is going to be a really prosperous and eventful year for us all. So thanks for listening. I'll catch you guys at the next recording.